What's up, book besties? Welcome to another episode of She's All Books, where we dive into the raddest reads that will totally blow your mind. Grab your favorite drink, kick back, and let's chat all things books. Because life's too short for boring stories. Ready? Let's get this book party started. Hey, book besties! Welcome to this episode of She's All Books. Here with me today is a very exciting debut author, Lacey James. Lacey, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited.
Me too. It's always so fun when the stars align and I get to meet people. And one of my favorite ways to meet authors is through other authors. And ironically, my premiere of season 2 author was author Daisy Jane. She told me during the interview, you have to connect with Lacey James. She's this new author, and I believe she met you at Readers Take Denver or something, and you were telling her about your book, and it's a fun 90s book. We're going to dive all into it. It's called Ladies Night. I have it right here. But anyway, she was like, you have to connect with her. Your vibes just match. And then I think it was actually that evening, after she and I finished recording, that one of us DM'd the other. And anyways, the rest is history. So I'm so excited for us to chat. I'm obsessed with Ladies Night. By the time this episode airs, my review will be posted. It posts today. I have it scheduled. So I cannot wait for everyone to get their hands on a copy of Ladies Night. It is such a fun read and so unique. So we're going to dive in. I have so many questions for you. I'm going to try to consolidate it to 8, but I am known to sneak in a couple extra questions in there. Perfect. So before we get going, for those listeners, viewers who are tuned into this episode that might not be familiar with your work, with Ladies Night, do you mind giving them a little blurb of your book so they can know a little bit before we go in?
Yes, Ladies Night is the first of 3. They're all going to be titled Ladies Night, and this is volume 1. This is a holiday bully romance that follows Holly and Davis, and it is set in 1998.
Me. Sorry, I'm going to cut this part out. I muted. You were perfect. My dog was barking, so I was trying to be fancy and mute, but I don't think it's going to pick him up. So I'll cut that little piece out. All right. Well, thank you so much for sharing that with the audience. 1998, those were good times. And this book is all about them. And it's such a fun, just the concept, the characters. We're going to dive into it, get really into your mind when you wrote it, because I can't wait. So as you might know, and those of you who are tuning in, maybe you don't know, I love to use a paper fortune teller to set the 90s nostalgia vibe and to guide our questions for you. So I have 8 questions that correspond with the 8 numbers on the paper fortune teller. This isn't going to be the traditional way of playing paper fortune teller, but just for fun, we're going to go with it. I might have to fudge it a couple times to get the questions we need, but we got this. Did you call this a paper fortune teller or a cootie catcher when you were growing up?
Cootie catcher.
Okay. So you and Daisy Jane both called it cootie catchers. When I met her at Readers Take Denver, ironically, we were both there. We just didn't know each other. When I met her, she was like, "That's not a paper fortune teller. That's a cootie catcher." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, I haven't heard that term in so long." So paper fortune teller or cootie catcher, whatever you choose to call it. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. Your color options are yellow, orange, green, or pink.
Pink.
All right. PINK. And your number options are 3, 4, 7, or 8. 3. All right. Question number 3. I am assuming that you love to read books when you're not writing books. So my question for you is, what are some of your favorite tropes to read, and what are your favorite tropes to write?
To read, I am a sucker for friends to lovers. I love age gap, forbidden, all of that kind of tied into one. My favorite to write is bully. And that's one, and that was the fun. And I have plans later down the road to do it again. I am such a mood reader. Mm-hmm. So I am all over the place with what tropes I want to read. It just honestly depends on my mood. And I have read so many awesome bully romance books.
And it's been so long since I've read one. So I was so excited to get my hands on this one because it had been way too long, and reading a bully romance was just what I needed. So perfect timing. All right. Yellow, orange, green, or pink?
Green.
Green. All right. Green. This time, your number options are 1, 2, 5, or 6. 5. All right. Question number 5. So, as we mentioned at the beginning of this episode, Ladies' Night is Lacey James' first book. So, it's her debut book. And I want to hear all about your writing style for this book. So, tell the listeners, the viewers, how did you plan this book? Like, where did it come from? And what was your writing style?
Best question ever. So it actually came from earlier in the year. I had been contemplating writing. I was kind of at a standstill trying to figure out what my next move was. And everyone and their mom has suggested that I write. I went to Denver with one of my best friends who's an author, and she was on me. Her mom was on me about writing. And I felt like now was the right time. And how this specific story came to be, the new Megan Quinn book comes out later this year, and it's a Christmas romance. And I was texting one of my best friends, and I said, when is someone going to write a Christmas romance when the bully comes in and burns her Christmas tree down? And she said, write it. And I thought she was joking. There was not like, no, I'm not going to be the one to write it. And as soon as I put it into the universe, I saw the entire scene where Davis breaks into her house. And that was the first scene I ever wrote. And I wrote it on my immediately after we texted. I just saw all of it, even the naughty stuff. And
that was awesome.
Wrote it on my phone, all of it, and sent it to her. And she said, yes, this is it. This is the book. And I showed my husband, and he said the same thing. This is the book. And it morphed into something bigger because originally it was just Holly and Davis, no best friends. And that's how it started. And I have been told that I write like I talk. I just kind of free flow and let whatever I say come out. It's not very structured. I struggle a lot with dialogue tags and action tags because I write just like a person talks. And that was the start of volume 1.
That is so cool. So you're more of a pantser than a plotter, and I had to learn those terms recently. So
yeah, a little bit.
How you describe yourself?
A little bit with the idea, I will kind of put the idea into the universe and let the characters talk back to me. But when it comes to writing, I'm 100% a planner. I want the idea once, like, I feel like my characters have accepted the idea. I print out a calendar because this takes place in December of 1998. I printed out a calendar from December 1998 so I could write down all my dates for what night is ladies' night, so everything lined up and I could see it, and then I just structure it based on the day. So in the beginning, I say I'm a little bit of a prancer because I just let the ideas come to me, but once the idea hits, then I'm overly structured with the writing.
That is so cool. I love that. And sometimes I hear reverse. Like I hear people who are like extremely organized at the beginning. Like I plot out general, like rough, like moments that are going to happen. And then I let it come to me. Like I let it flow. I let the characters like take control. So that's fascinating. And for those of you who, I have a lot of Bookstagram followers who reach out asking me for books that are less than 400 pages or less than 350 pages, because sometimes when you're reading you hit your threshold or your attention span runs out. Maybe you're just like looking for like more of a quick read, not one that's going to like take a very long time. And I will say that was one of my favorite things about Ladies' Night, is that this wasn't a book that's going to drag on. It's going to be a fun, quick read for you. So I like to point things like that out for those who are looking for that in specific. So Ladies' Night would be your choice for sure.
Yes, under 200 pages. That was very intentional that the entire series be under 200 pages. The whole idea behind it was something that you can read on a Saturday morning really quickly. The palate cleanser, the in-between books, the just know what kind of mood I'm in, grab and just have so much fun. Sometimes those are my favorite books that are under 200 pages. that I can just run through really quickly, have the best time. And that was the whole goal.
I love that. That is awesome. And a lot of people really are looking for that. So that's so fun to find. My dog, Gideon, who's named after a male main character of a book, is making
From the Crossfire series?
Yes.
I love Gideon.
It's Gideon Cross right here. No, he's making his first appearance on the podcast. So I'm going to kindly escort him out because he is a pit bull and very vocal. So I'm going to just let him leave for a quick second and I will be right back because I want to hear these answers, Gideon. Well, whoa. Have to go into a blooper somewhere. He
then I got to
check around when I'm filming. My goodness. I think it's muted you. Sorry. Are you muted? No.
I don't know. I can hear you. Can you hear me?
There we go. Okay. Yes, we're good. Yeah, I read Crossfire series by Sylvia Day back in I don't even know when. We got him in 2014, so it was years before that. Yeah. When we got him, I somehow managed to convince my husband he should be named Gideon. I don't think my husband knows it's from a male main character. He wouldn't care. But I think I left that part out when I was like, Gideon.
I think there's some that you can get away with and some that you can't. I don't think my husband would know Gideon, but if I said, can I name my dog Christian? He would say Christian Grey. No, totally.
Gideon at the time was just not that popular of a name. So I pulled it off and he's very much a Gideon. And if you look up the name and the meaning behind the name Gideon, it's destroyer. And I don't know, some things. And he is a destroyer. He is now how old? Almost 10 years old and still destroys everything, I feel like, but he's such a good boy. He's just a Gideon. And Sylvia Day recently posted my paper fortune teller of her at Reader's Take Denver on her profile grid, and I fanned out hardcore. But anyways, I know it was do you know I named my dog after you moment. Right. So yeah, back to ladies' night because I am obsessed and want to get us back focused because I can go on tangents. But under 200 pages, like Lacey just said, this is perfect for a weekend read. If you're going on a trip and you just want to read something by the pool, you're going to be able to finish this probably on your vacation. So fun book to pick up for that. All right, let's get back to our fortune teller questions. Your color options: green, orange, pink, or yellow.
Yellow.
All right. IELLOW. And your number options are 3, 4, 7, or 8. But you've already answered question 3.
Okay, 4.
4. All right. Question number. Can you tell the viewers and listeners a little bit about the main characters of Ladies' Night? So our FMC and our MMC, which are female main character and male main character, for those of you who might not be familiar with those acronyms. Can you tell them a little bit more about those characters?
Yes, my male main character is Davis. He is a 34-year-old morally great man. He owns a nightclub, Ravers, which the girls attend every Thursday night. Holly is my little FMC. She turned 25 that year and is recently single. She was just kicked out of her apartment by her boyfriend. She's recently moving into her first home. Her favorite holiday is Christmas. She has such a sad backstory. She's been on her own since she was 18. Her parents passed away, and she's really just had her 2 best friends. She is a little bit of a people pleaser. She's a huge homebody. I love her so much. She's nothing like me, and I
am such a people pleaser, and I am such a homebody. I recharge just being home and doing nothing. That is my I don't know, whatever it's called, recharge. I totally relate to her when I was reading it, and some of the things about her personality that you wrote in there was definitely relatable for me.
I really wanted every girl to be relatable, either to you in your 20s or if you are in a girl group that, oh my gosh, that's so my best friend. And in this particular group, Holly is so one of my best friends. And that was what I wanted. I wanted everyone to open it and say I'm Holly, or, oh my gosh, my best friend is Holly. And I feel like that brings the story to life when you can, I had girlfriends say, oh my gosh, I remember when I was 20 and I bought my first Christmas tree, or all the women that were like, I remember Black Friday shopping at Kmart. And that was everything was so intentional. I wanted you to remember what it was like, whether you were 25 in 1998 or whenever you were, just the feeling of being 25 and newly single and being out with your girlfriends and clubbing and all of that. And so I wanted Holly to be insanely relatable. I didn't really care if Davis was relatable. Davis is like, I say that he's the man who would pick up beer and diapers if you sent him on a tampon run. He's just that man. Like, you love him, but you want to strangle him.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And I absolutely love him. And it's funny that you say that about the relatable piece, because for me, I felt like there was two ways I related. I could really like find comfort and like connect that nostalgic piece of it. I could also really connect to all the things about being a 25-year-old and that time of life, or like fresh out of college, and the fun things that she's going through with her friends. So I always like to tell people, because recently I was talking with somebody who is a romance reader. She does a lot of book reviews and stuff, and we're in a book club together. And we were talking about this book that and how I love nostalgic books and books that are set like in the 90s and early 2000s, even the 80s. Like I love it. Like it's so exciting for me to find those. And she was like, well, I just don't know, because like I don't really remember much of the 90s, because like I was born at the end of the 90s. And I was like, but that doesn't matter. Like you can still read it for the actual plot and like those relatability pieces. You don't have to read books based on the time period that they were written. Like I've read books written in the 70s that are like rock star romance books that I wasn't born yet. So like those don't, like, it's not like I can remember certain events happening that are being referenced, but it's so fun to still read the plot and the story and to hear a little bit about that time. So I always like to plug that in there. My vibe, of course, is nostalgia, which is why, I absolutely devoured this book, but you can also find other relatable pieces to it if you aren't a millennial. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. All right. Pink, yellow, orange, or green?
Let's do pink again.
Pink again. All right. PINK. 1, 5, or 6, but you already answered question 5. So 1, 2, or 6?
6.
6. All right. Question number 6. All right. I am excited to hear your answer for this. If you could dream cast for this book, who would play our two main characters?
It would so I always pictured, I'm going to say his name wrong because I never know how to say his last name, but the guy from Magic Mike, Joe Manganiello. Is that how you say it?
Yes, an Italian stallion, absolutely.
Davis, just like giant, burly, so looking.
Yes.
And then for Holly, Lily Collins.
Yes, absolutely.
With
Emily in Paris, right?
Bob. She's in The Blind Side. I think that's the only thing that I know her in. She was long hair, but Holly has a short bob, but she's tiny. Holly is 5'3", and so I just pictured those two together the whole time I was writing it. As far as the other girls, I pictured Rachel Bilson as Raven, because Raven has long brunette hair. Maybe it's because I'm a diehard fan of the OC. But for Daisy just has a particular look, and I haven't found a celebrity that looks just like Daisy. Daisy just has, I don't know, her own kind of look. But for my two main characters, 100%, that's who I pictured.
Yes, absolutely. I love it. I can see that. And you know what? Everyone who throws, who am I always seeing? Not on the show. I always get such a wide variety of dream cast for the show, which I love, because people will bring up sometimes actors and actresses
for everything. And I don't think I have ever once pictured that man. He is not my type.
Who did you say?
Henry Cavill. People always.
Okay, that's what I was just about to say. People always say him on the internet, not my show, and I'm always like, no, I don't ever picture him as my main male character. Now I could get totally on board. Always had a thing for the Italian men. I mean, I married one, so it's definitely a thing. So him, yes, 100%. But I've never ever once thought about Henry Cavill, and everyone talks about him. They can have him. I won't fight for him.
He's just not my type.
Exactly.
Davis is not even my type. The big burly, he's
burly,
not my type.
Yeah.
No. And picturing Davis, that just came so fast, because it was of course, he's not going to be a little scrawny guy wearing board shorts in the 90s, or even Cameron with the Jinko jeans and the chain in the Vanilla Ice shirt. Like, that's not him either.
Yes. Yeah. Think about I'm gonna say the name wrong. Michele Michele
Yeah,
Morone.
I know who you're talking about.
Okay, from like there's like a series on Netflix, Blink.
I think it's called
yes.
5 Days. Yeah.
Yes, that book, I mean that show based off of the book series.
Yeah.
I always think of him, especially when I'm reading like mafia romances, like the Cora, Riley, Luca, and all of them. But you just gave me something new. Yay, I'm excited. I love that dream cast. Let's make it happen. All right, yellow, orange, green, or pink?
Green.
Green. All right. GREEN. This time your number options are 1 or 2 because you already answered 5 and 6.
Let's do 2.
2. All right. Question number 2. And see, I have to write these down, what numbers, because I will forget. Question number 2. When you were writing Ladies' Night, did you have any like fun traditions, like a drink you would always drink, or a snack you'd always snack on, or a blanket you would always cuddle with, or not? No tradition.
Little bit. So when I'm writing, like to put on, I made a 90s playlist while I wrote, and I could only write with a 90s playlist. And each volume had their own playlist because each couple is totally different. So I would have popcorn and a Diet Coke, and I would have that playlist. And then when I'm editing, I still need music on, but I can't have any music that I'm going to rock out to or like sing along to. So I played folklore.
Okay, yeah.
And that was pretty much my tradition, is that when I'm writing, this house is nothing but 90s music. My kids now sing Spice Girls and Britney Spears every day.
I love it.
That's kind of, that gets me in the groove. And then editing is Taylor Swift.
I love it. That is awesome. And I saw your Spice Girls sweatshirt in a post, I feel like, before. Maybe, I don't know, but I need the link because I need the shirt sweatshirt.
Yes. On the back it says "Spice Up Your Life."
I need it. That is amazing.
Yeah, I just got it on Etsy. I love it so much.
I love that. That is so cute. Awesome. Well, I love those little traditions, and I personally always am working to 90s music. Mm-hmm. Not writing, but working. Pink, yellow, green, or orange?
Let's do orange.
Orange. All right. ORANGE. And your number options left on this is 1. Would you like to answer question number 1?
Yes.
I warned you, this is not the traditional way of playing.
No, you're good.
All right. Question number 1. So as you mentioned, that Ladies' Night is volume 1 and a interconnected series, correct? Like it's going to be, yeah. So can you tell us a little bit about like what to expect coming next? Like you don't have to give us specifics on the book, but like how many books do you know? Like whatever you're allowed to tell us.
Yeah. So there are 3 books. They follow. Every girl gets her own book. Holly is first. She's the Christmas book. Daisy is next. Daisy gets the Valentine's Day book. And Raven is volume 3. Raven gets Halloween. So Daisy is next. I'm so happy that everyone has been so excited for Daisy. I feel like that's the dream, to have everyone be ready for the next book. So it is very interconnected. I know I don't think I can call it a trilogy, but we pick up in January of 1999. So there's no overlap. We move right into, we end with, it's New Year's Eve, and we start Daisy's book, what she's doing on New Year's Eve, because her and Rave are at the club. So we pick up immediately after we finish, and it's just in Daisy and her male main characters' point of views, but everybody is back. Everyone is very involved, and the same thing will be for Raven's book.
I love that. That is awesome. I can't wait. So it'll be so it's going to be Valentine's Day and then Halloween next. So we can get all those holiday vibes.
All of them.
Perfect. All right. Yellow, orange, green, or pink? Pink. All right. And I'm going to have to fake it if we don't land on the right cluster of numbers. PINK. We did. 3, 4, 7, or 8. You already answered 3 and 4. So 7
8.
or 8.
Let's do it.
Okay. Question number 8. This is like the typical icebreaker question, even though we didn't start off with this, but what are 3 things that you think readers might find interesting about you or they might not know about you from your author Instagram where they're connecting with you?
Because I haven't ever shown my face. So a few things that they might find interesting. So I was born in 1990. So I was a child of the 90s and I was very much aware of what was happening in the 90s. All my babysitters were older, all my cousins were older, and then I was a teenager in the early 2000s. And then that was one thing that I was nervous about is all the girls who like graduated in 1998. I thought, oh no, am I going to get your references wrong? But I was pretty confident. I was one of those children that grew up really fast, and I wanted to know where everyone was clubbing, what music they were listening to, what they were watching. So I was pretty confident, but I was nervous that people would say, was she even a teenager in the 90s? Close enough.
Yeah.
Close enough.
I love it.
And probably I'm a diehard reader. When I'm not writing, I'm reading pretty much the entire day. I'm a stay-at-home mom. So when I'm not reading and writing, I'm juggling kids and trying to make it all work.
That is awesome. Very cool. That is so fascinating. It's funny lately when I've been doing these interviews, a couple authors have been like, so are you just like a 90s fan? Like, or did you actually grow up in the night, like in this time? I'm like, no, I'm like legit a millennial. Like actually like grew up during this time and I have all the trauma to prove it. No, I'm kidding. But I swear I'm not just faking it. But I love it. We'll take it as compliments. Anyways. Okay.
Yeah.
Pink, yellow, green, or orange?
Yellow.
Yellow. All right. Why? And last question is question number 8. Because you just did 7, right?
But
did you just do 8?
Yeah, whichever one.
This always happens to me. So last one is 7. I didn't write it down. Oh yeah, you're right, because you just answered that question. So would you like to answer question number 7?
Yes.
All right. Question number 7. This is like a newer question and one I'm always fascinated by. How did you come up with the characters' names in Ladies' Night?
I don't even know. So with Davis, that was tough because I wanted to come up with a name that was popular in the 90s. Like I didn't want to do any name that's popular right now. And so I went and I just Googled these and 90s boys names and just scrolled until one clicked. And when I read Davis, I was like, that's it. And I texted all of my best friends to get approval because I can't do anything on my own. And they all said 100% that's his name. And Holly just kind of came to me, I think, with Christmas. And I really like nicknames. And I have one of my friends has a daughter named Holly, and I call her Halls. And Davis says Halls, and they all call her Halls. And so that was really quick. And with Daisy and Rave, their names were originally Rachel. And then I didn't have one for Daisy. And so we just kind of went with it. And as I was going, I just felt like she's not a Rachel. And kind of out of nowhere, those two, because they were not supposed to be a part of the series, those two are really joint mesh of my subconscious. And they came out and were like, our names are Daisy and Raven, which then worked out really well because Raven has the Halloween book and then Daisy has the spring book. So that kind of worked. And then they both have nicknames too. Like they say Days and Rave. And so that all kind of fit together. Yeah, there wasn't a whole lot. The only one that I really had to work for was Davis, because
he was perfectly named. Yeah, he's definitely a Davis. Like I can't imagine like any other name for him.
He's a
so it sounds like the actual like writing. If you started the concept for this after Readers Take Denver, that was in April.
Yes.
We're now in September. That's not that long. So how long did it start to publish?
I was writing on the plane home from Denver and pretty quick. I felt like it was a story. I felt like I was waiting for the other shoe to drop. I just felt like this story was waiting for me to tell it because it just came out so fast.
That is amazing.
I think I was completely done writing in just over a month. And I know a lot of people have a hard time seeing past themselves in their own schedules. my schedule is very flexible. I'm a stay-at-home mom to one older child who's just not of school age yet. So the season of life that I'm in affords me the time to write. My husband works 12 to 13-hour shifts, so he is never home. So I'm just in a season where I can just sit in front of the computer and write all day. And so I did. And I just had so much to say. And then editing and beta reading and all of that took about another month and a half. So I would say just under 3 months until we were done and it was ready to go to ARC readers. So
that is so impressive.
It
That's
was
amazing.
it was fast, but at the same time, I had the best team of women who are workaholics, who everyone was ready to edit when I was done. An art major, so he and one of my best friends did my covers, and we just one night did the covers for all of the books, and just kind of went into hustle mode, and it just felt like the missing puzzle piece that like this was really just meant to be because it just the way it unfolded moved so fast.
I love that. That is amazing. Fascinating. It sounds like you have such a great, like you said, team of support that's able to jump in as needed. And that's also really, really great to have. Very nice. That's so cool. I appreciate you answering all of my questions from the paper fortune teller. And now we are at the section of the episode where you get to pick a fun, nostalgic game that will have a little bit of a bookish twist to it. And your options are MASH, Two Truths and a Lie, Never Have I Ever, or Truth or Dare.
Let's do Truth or Dare.
Okay, Truth or Dare. So what we'll do is we'll go back and forth 3 times each. So you'll get to pick 3 times. I'll get to pick 3 times. And the idea of it is like to keep it bookish, like books you love, things you have read, but obviously it can be like anything we've talked about. It can be challenging. So if you want to take time to think of a couple first, or we can just like jump into it. It's up to you.
Just jump and see what happens.
Okay, perfect. So you're my guest. You get to pick. Do you want to ask me Truth or Dare first, or would you like me to ask you?
I'll let you ask me first.
Okay. All right. So, Lacey, Truth or Dare?
Truth.
Truth. Tell the truth. Well, one of them, I just answered myself, my first one, right? Okay, tell the truth. When you published The Book Went Live, how frequently were you checking reviews?
Pretty frequently, I would say more frequently when the ARC readers got it, more so than on release day. So when ARC readers got the book, I waited till that night, and then I was checking Goodreads every hour as if people were finishing the book every hour. Release day, a lot of the reviews were just coming over from Goodreads that I had already seen. So I was checking. I was checking page reads, but I got out of the house that whole day so that I wouldn't be tempted. But pretty often throughout the day, pretty often. At least
know anything about page reads until recently. I've heard authors talk about page reads. So, well, maybe that'll be my next question for you. Interesting. Well, thanks for answering that. I'm always wondering like how it must be for an author on like release day or release
I think it's different. I know we're like veering. I think it's different for everybody. I have very low expectations. This is a passion project for me. No one is waiting for my paycheck. And so I'm very privileged in that I get to just devote all of my time and energy into this right now. And I have very low expectations. It was really a love letter to my best friends. And I'm so happy with the feedback that I've gotten. And it could not have been better. Everyone seems to really enjoy it. Everyone is so excited for volume 2, and that there was just no expectations. And so on release day, it was just so overwhelming with the people who were sharing and getting their friends who were saying, oh, I've been waiting for this for a couple weeks now. So I was checking a lot more on social media because I really wanted to see everyone's edits.
Yes.
I made edits before for books. And so to think that someone was making edits for me, I was so emotional, probably more so than reading reviews. Reviews are super all over the place. You know, the reason someone didn't like my book was the reason someone gave it 5 stars. And I understand a reader and a reviewer. Reading the reviews, I would say I did do a lot, but I definitely checked social media a lot more
Yeah.
because it's so subjective. Like, and
So
everyone made good,
subjective. Yeah.
and I could see what they meant. And so even girls who were saying that they didn't like Davis, I was like yelling with them, and I was right, isn't he awful? Forgetting that I created him. He's the worst. And then other
That is
girls,
so
oh
funny.
my God, he was so dreamy. I loved him, and I'm right there with them, like, oh my gosh, isn't he amazing?
That is so funny. Wow, that's awesome. I love your outlook on it. Like it's like reviews are just so subjective, and it's the hype that's the most fun part of it, I feel like. So that's what you're focused on. Yeah.
Tell the truth. Have you ever had a guest that felt like pulling teeth when talking to them?
No, not. I have been so lucky. I have not ever turned away a guest. So I
Uh-huh.
just want to start with that. Like anyone who signs up, I'm down to talk. I've never had anyone who was like pulling teeth. Everyone has been so amazing, and I'm not just saying that. I would be very honest if not.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say who.
Yeah.
But no,
Right.
everyone's been fabulous, and afterwards, I just feel like so connected to the guests. Like
Mm-hmm.
I always want to just like hype them up. Like as I see them like come out with new books and stuff, and slide into their DMs every once in a while to check in. So no, I've been fortunate, and every interview's been so interesting for me. Even when I'm like tired, it's been a long day.
Yeah.
We're recording at night. I'm like I'm still excited to do it, and I'm still like it's so fun. So not yet, not yet. I will say yet because you never know what's going to happen next week. Who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah. Good. That's a good one. No one's ever asked me that. All right. Truth or dare?
I like, I'm the like, I feel like the odd man out that's like, I'll answer anything. I don't care.
I love it. Tell the truth. How far are you into book 2 with writing it?
Done. Book 2 is in editing. I started writing book 2 when I was in final editing, volume 1. And that girl just wants a book. She wanted a book. Well, in the middle of Holly's book, and she was so much fun. So yeah, I'm in not final editing, but I'm pretty far into editing. It'll be ready for betas in a couple weeks. So pretty far.
Wow. That is amazing. I'm so excited. So that means it'll be in my hands soon once it's published. I can't wait.
Yeah.
True. Oh, you.
Oh wait, no, it's my turn to ask you. Oh my gosh, I can't think of a dare, so I'm gonna keep going. I hope you say truth. Okay, truth or dare. Okay. Have you ever had a guest on, an author on, and you didn't read their book?
I have had guests on who I've never read their book, and I make sure I tell the audience like this is a new to me book. Like the questions I'm asking are very much like me trying to explore the book. So there are people who have come on who I've not read their book yet, but we explore it together, and I usually like 9 times out of 10 go and read it like immediately after. Yes, that has definitely happened, and I don't like require authors who come on here to like send me a copy of their book or anything like that. Like if you just want to provide me with a blurb, that works, like whatever you want. But if it's a book that I didn't have time to read or I've never heard of, then I use it more to like explore and to dig deeper into it. And I think that those interviews are just as fun for me, and I hope for the authors as well when I'm like truly just like digging in and trying to learn about their books. So yeah, that has happened.
Nice.
I would say like actually 60% of the time I've read the book, and then like 40% of the time it's books I have not read yet. And that's just purely schedule. Ideally, I would read the book beforehand just so that I can like really geek out and everything. But sometimes scheduling just doesn't allow that. That's a good one too. All right, truth or dare?
I think I'll do dare. I'll be
dare.
brave.
I want to, since you're done with book 2, I'm going to dare you for book 3 to incorporate a specific song into it that's like from that time period, but like you obviously don't really have to do this dare. It's more just for fun for me. So I feel like a song that's been like on repeat in my mind lately is Savage Garden's Truly Madly Deeply.
That's a good one.
Maybe incorporate that, and it would be like a Halloween one. So I don't know if it's gonna work or not, but
and Rave, I'll tell you who's on Rave's playlist, and that'll give you the vibe of her book. Depeche Mode, Duran Duran, very into synth pop, And that,
Okay.
I'll just give you like the vibe of her book. Her vibe is, imagine sitting in your bedroom in the dark, blaring synth pop and just crying your eyes out. And that is
It fits her character for sure.
that is
So fits the time for
yeah,
the holiday. So that's
yeah.
awesome.
And that's
So
why you
truly and madly deeply would not work. Maybe I'm gonna have to think on it now. I'm gonna have to like, ooh, something fuzzy is flying around. I'm gonna have to 99. I'm just trying to think of what I might
yeah.
have to do it.
Just
I might have to follow up in a story.
more of like a melancholy, like Smashing Pumpkins 1979, Depeche Mode, Enjoy the Silence.
What
Just
about now I have to look up when the song came out. Pause a moment. Let's see here. What about my queen, my favorite? I feel like it could mash. Alanis Morissette's Ought to Know. It came out in 1995.
my God. Yes,
It's
100.
a scream with your lights off in your bed or while you're driving without your lights off. Song. Could that one work? Because she's my queen and I love all things Alanis Morissette.
For sure.
She taught me everything I needed to know in life. Okay. That's your dare. And obviously, if you don't do it, that's totally fine as well. All right. Last one for me, or did I go 3 times? I can't remember now. Last one. Yeah. I went twice.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Truth or dare.
I'll do a dare too, since you were a trooper.
What is your last photo in your most recent photo in your photo gallery on your phone?
That's a good question. Let's see. My last photo in my gallery. It's so funny. It happens to be for a book train that I'm about to be on. It's the image for it. That's tomorrow. Before that one, I screenshot, go figure, some jeans from American Eagle that are very 90s that you can't really see. I'm all dreamy drape stretch high rise. I have no idea, but they were like, I was like, oh, I'm obsessed, and it looks so 90s. American Eagle and Abercrombie are doing a very good job with the 90s styles right now, and if either of them want to sponsor my show, that'd be fab.
They're really bringing it back with those like long sleeve all tees. I'm like,
they're just like nailing it. I know.
I feel like everyone is. They know that all the elder millennials have adult money now, and they're coming back with all of this stuff that I'm like, I don't need a Ginger Spice doll, but do I have one? Yes. Does my husband have a whole collection of Ninja Turtles downstairs? Yes. Like, do I need this? No, but you're hitting these like mentally millennials. You need paraphernalia to be happy. And I'm like, you know what? I do. Here's my
take all my money, all my adult. Yeah, it's been so fun. I'm upset. So anyways, that was my second to last picture on my phone. But those are good questions. You brought the good truth or dare questions. I love it. Well, that wraps up our fun games, and I had so much fun taking a trip down memory lane with you and doing all the nostalgia things. I cannot wait for volume 2 and 3 of this series. I absolutely love this book. I love the concept. It was so unique, like I mentioned at the beginning. I mean, fully romance, Christmas, like all the things, ladies' night, 1990. I mean, it was just such a fun mixture of all these different tropes and styles into this book that, like you said, is under 200 pages. So I'm so excited you're on. I hope you'll come back on the show and we can talk all things volume 2 and 3, because this was such a blast. Before you go, can you tell those who are viewing and listening where they can connect with you on social media, where they can buy Ladies Night?
Yes, I'm on TikTok and Instagram. My username is @author Lacey James. My book is available on Amazon to buy. It's available on Kindle Unlimited, and the paperback is also available on Amazon.
Perfect. And I will drop links to in the captions of this, whether you're listening or you're watching. There will be links in the caption for you to click and quickly connect with Lacey. I made it this far without a tongue twister. Quickly connect with Lacey James. And let us know in the comments, what do you think about Ladies Night? What do you think about those tropes? Like, give us some feedback. We love to connect with those who are watching and listening. So I appreciate it again, Lacey. That was such a fun time.
Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you. And until next time, thanks for watching this episode of She's All Book. All right, book besties, that's a wrap on this totally rad episode of She's All Books. If you're digging this vibe, don't be a square. Smash that subscribe button faster than you can say as if. Want to keep the convo going? Hit me up on social media at She's All Books. Drop a comment, share your fave book, or tell me what you want to hear next. I'm all ears. And hey, if you thought this episode was all that, spread the word. Tell your besties, your mom, even that cute barista at the local coffee shop. The more, the merrier. Stay tuned for the next episode, dropping Mondays at 6 a.m. Eastern Time. It's going to be a blast. Until then, keep it real and keep on reading. See ya.